and welcome back to another episode of the 6 a.m. Club where we start our day inspired. It's the first 6 a.m. Club episode of the year. Even though we're almost halfway through the month, it's our first episode, so I want to say Happy New Year. I am excited to be back with more inspiration to start your weekend, to start your day whenever you're listening to this. And the format of the 6 a.m. Club this season is not going to change. It's going to be short episodes. We're going to be inspired by quotes, or sometimes we're going to talk about other things. But one thing is for sure. Whenever you hit play on any of these episodes, I want to invite you to grab your cup of coffee and dive into some real talk and some real inspiration. So let's dive into today's quote. And you've probably heard this one before. It says, if you want to be successful, you need to respect one rule. Never lie to yourself. Let me repeat it one more time. If you want to be successful, you need to respect one rule. Never lie to yourself. It's simple, but yet it's packed with that punch, doesn't it? Now, I like to first admit that I've had my fair share of lying to myself sometimes, right? It's easy to paint a rosy picture, but the truth is our compass for success needs a dose of brutal honesty sometimes. And to start the day and to start the year, I want to give you that little dose of brutal honesty and tough love, because I think we all need this right now at the beginning of the year. I think that as we start a new year, we all have these big goals, these big dreams that we are telling ourselves this is going to be the year that we are going to make this happen. This is the year that I am going to make this happen. And maybe these are new goals. Maybe these are goals that are on repeat, meaning they've been on your list of New Year resolutions in the past. And as we embark in this journey to focus on certain habits or achieve certain goals, which is something that we all do with the new year, a lot of times in our journey towards achieving that, we fail to this one rule of not lying to ourselves. In which way, you might ask? Well, in the way of putting excuses, in the way of partially showing up and making up stories to justify why we're just showing halfway through. Like, for example, let's talk about one goal or New Year resolution that is very common: losing weight. Probably one of the most common New Year resolutions that there is. And when you start your year telling yourself, this is going to be the year that I lose weight. First of all, I have problems just with that statement, but let's take that as an example. If you say that and you're like, okay, in order to do that, I am going to exercise more and I'm going to eat less. I'm oversimplifying this. Let's stick with the exercise. I'm going to exercise more, and you maybe say, okay, I haven't worked out in a while, but I'm going to start working out 5 days a week. And day one, you show up and you do your workout, and it was tough and you're tired and you're sore. And the next day you stay too. So you show up because you're still motivated, maybe day 3. But at one point, there is that one day that you're not feeling it. And you just make up an excuse. I'm too sore. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. You fill the blanks and you don't show up. And the first time you do that, you're opening a gate for that to become your new norm. If you do it once, you're going to do it again. And I'm not saying that it should be a no excuse all the time and that you can't skip a workout. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I'm saying here is you start to lie to yourself. You start to make stories in yourself to make it okay for not showing up for your goals, for your own commitments that you made with yourself. That's why I think this quote, it hits the nail as we start the new year. Another way that we lie to ourselves is about where we are in terms of the progress that we've made, in terms of how much we've showed up or how much effort we've put into it. A lot of times we tell ourselves stories that we are ahead than we're really are, or we're behind that we really are. It all depends on our perspectives and our personalities. But I think a lot of times, for me, this quote, which I have to clarify, this quote is not about pointing fingers, right? It's about facing the mirror and saying, hey, this is where I am, and that is okay. The real magic begins with the self-awareness. Know your strengths, embrace your flaws. And, if you are not where you're supposed to be, that is perfectly okay. Success is a journey, right? And a lot of times we look at success as a sprint, but it's not. And in this journey to success this year, as we start a new year, there are going to be detours and bumps and roadblocks along the way. And you're going to have to navigate that journey sometimes blindfolded. And that is a recipe for success. If you not have the awareness of really where you are and really what you need, and having the ability to really be truthful to yourself and to be honest with yourself, to admit where you are, to admit what you need, to admit that it's not perfect, but it's not supposed to be. So here's the deal for 2024. Let's be our best selves. Let's put to aside our imposter syndrome and our doubts and just engage in a raw, honest conversation with ourselves. It's not about being harsh, it's about being real, right? When you're rocking it, celebrate it. But no more shortcuts, no more detours, just straight focus on our goals. And knowing and admitting that the road is going to be bumpy and it's not going to be straight, and that is okay. But realizing when we fall, admitting that we fall, learning from the fall, that is part of the journey. Remember, success loves honesty. The more you own your reality, the more you can shape it. So let's kick off this year with a promise. No lies, no excuses. Just you, a shot of honesty, and real focus towards what you really want to achieve this year. With that, I just want once again to wish you a great 2024. I know this is going to be a great year because you are going to make it a great year. So cheers for keeping things real. Once again, want to close with our quote today. If you want to be successful, you need to respect one rule. Never lie to yourself. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you here next week for another episode of the 6 a.m. Club.